Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews. And today we're giving you guys our album review of Fire by Kittie. So we have been listening to this album for an entire week straight, and I guess I'll open the floor here and say overall, I think it was pretty good. I mean, you know, you always think, especially with an album like this one, okay, what's gonna hook me? What's gonna get stuck in my head and what's gonna make me love it? One song I can say that did that is We Are Shadows. That's a song that its hook hooked me. Straight up, straightforward. Really like that song. It's a song that I consistently enjoyed every time it came up on the record, and it did make my playlist. I still think rhythmically, the main riff sounds a lot like Before I Forget, but I mean, it's not like that ruined the song. I just kind of had fun just singing Before I Forget on top of those parts. But overall, I still enjoy that song quite a bit. Another one, it didn't click as hard as We Are Shadows, but Vultures, pretty good song. I generally enjoyed it. You know, it came on, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. I still think Eyes Wide Open is the best track on this album. Love it every time it comes on. I think it was a really strong first single.
Yeah.
Like to have that as the first single, like that really makes a big statement. We're back and we're gonna kick some ass.
It's a we're back statement, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love the main groove that's used in the chorus of that. Plus, I do kind of like the mix-up that there's no melodic anything in this song. So
Which one, sorry?
In Eyes Wide Open.
Okay,
There's none of that.
Yeah.
So it's cool that it's like you have this for the whole album, then the last song, just pure aggression. So I think having the dynamic and the diversity that way, like maybe the album could use a few more songs like that. Because I did kind of make the criticism last week that it kind of felt safe. Felt like they were going for a lot of hooks to kind of just, you know, get a lot more, I don't know if accessible is the right word for that specific thing, but I feel like they were going for a bit of a hooky album. But
It's also not new for this band, though. Just to put that out there.
Yeah, like I'm not as familiar with this band.
They're known for melodic hooks and stuff like that. They, you know, that's something that they do. So it's not like they did this only on this album to try to like win over more people. It's still in the vein of their stuff. So
yeah,
it's fair.
Okay, there's another thing I like. I Still Wear This Crown has this really cool shot where they come in on the downbeat of 2. Love that every time. I thought that was a really cool moment. If there's one song I'd say I wasn't really huge on, that would be One Foot in the Grave. This song feels really try-hard in terms of the hookiness. Like this chorus I just was not vibing with, and I'd hear it just, here we go again. I'd kind of roll my eyes at that one.
Interesting.
Just kind of feels like a try-hard kind of like, yeah, let's sing along with this one. When it's like, you know,
yeah,
you could do that with the others and it would work. I feel like this one tried a little bit too hard at that, and it started to bug me. So I wasn't really into that at all. I feel like the rest of the album, though, it's kind of like fine. It's not like it's bad. It's not like it's anything super notable. It kind of comes and goes, and it's generally acceptable. But like I said, I'm not super familiar on the rest of this band's work, so I haven't listened to the old stuff. You are a lot more knowledgeable about that stuff than I am. But, you know, basically this being my first impression of the band, I can tell that, and based on what I know, I feel like the older stuff may have had a little bit more soul to it, like the first few records probably, because I know this band has some foundations in nu metal, so to kind of have that tenacity is probably what would really give it a little bit more bite. So I'll probably have to go listen to, I think is the first one Spit? I'd have to go listen to Spit. I think Oracle's after that.
That's right.
So I'd have to check out those records and really kind of sink my teeth into that and what their old sound was.
Yeah, I think this is one of those bands that like every album they have a different sound, but they all still feel like Kittie. I mean, they went through a bunch of lineup changes and things like that, and they were going through different periods of their life and things like that. So, you know, like a lot of bands, you're gonna have different flavors on each album. Some a little bit stronger than others, some on the weaker side. That's just how it goes. This one, I think I might have mentioned this in the first impression. This one doesn't really remind me of any specific era or album from Kittie's past. I feel like this is a new era for the band, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, depending on what type of fan you are and what kind of music you're looking for. The one song that I feel like represents their complete sound is We Are Shadows, and I did think I mentioned that before, but I'm just cementing it here, that song still, I feel like, just represents their entire sound as a band. From the beginning of the discography to their latest stuff, that's what this band is about. 1 Foot in the Grave. I'm gonna just counter your points because to me this was the best song on the album, which I find very interesting. That doesn't happen very often where we have completely dissenting views on a specific song or an album. This is your lowest song on the album. It's my highest song on the album. That's pretty interesting. I thought this was a great choice for a single because it has the best hook on the album. You phrase it as it being try hard. I can see where you're coming from, but I think it paid off. I think that it paid off in a way where it hooked me every time I was listening to it. It was getting in my ears, it was getting in my brain, I was thinking about it afterwards, and that's the intention behind a hook like that.
And yeah, that is true, but at the same time, a hook like that is either gonna really grab you or it's really not gonna work.
It can grab you or annoy you even.
It's a very sharp double-edged sword.
It is. So yeah, the song stood out to me, but my problem is, when I considered adding it to my playlist, which I like to add songs from every album we review to my playlist, when I considered adding this song, I just felt like it wouldn't fit. I felt like if I was listening to a playlist, no matter what was on shuffle before this, and this song came on, I feel like I'd want to skip it. It just doesn't seem like it fits in with anything else other than on this album, it feels fine. So that was a little bit weird to me, where it's like my favorite song on the album, but I didn't put it in the playlist. That's probably never happened before. So very odd thing for me right there. I want to just list a few songs that I thought were just kind of duds. And by duds, I mean, I tried listening to these songs and getting into them, and I just couldn't write any notes on them. They were just coming and going. Falter, Vultures, Are You Entertained, and Grind. Those 4 tracks, fine songs, I guess, but really nothing to them. I couldn't figure out anything about these songs that was worthy of talking about in this review. The rest of the tracks I thought were fine, were pretty good songs, and I was like, okay, these are decent. But again, nothing crazy.
The 2 different sides of fine.
2 different sides of fine, yeah. So I Still Wear This Crown, that one, again, some nice vocal harmony, some nice, the vocal hook is catchy. Eyes Wide Open, since you talked about that, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit. I think this is also a great song. Probably second best song on the album for me.
Did it make your playlist?
It didn't make the playlist because kind of overall in the grand scheme of things, there's just so much out there that outshines this song still. Even in Kittie's own discography. Like if you look at songs like from other albums, like they all have these songs on their albums that are like the hard-hitting songs, right? Like Daughters Down, or Choke, or Red Flag, or Cutthroat, or I Failed You. These songs just go hard. Some of them have melodic natures to them, but they're just heavy hitters. This song is the heavy hitter on this album, but I feel like it's just overshadowed by a lot of stuff on their former discography. So somebody who knows their older stuff, I'm going, this is good, but it's not, they're capable of more. And this is something that's like, it ached me a little bit. So, what's my takeaway through all this? Did I enjoy it? Yes. But I'm gonna say something that might rub people the wrong way. I feel like this, for me, might be Kittie's worst album. And that hurts to say, because I've been a fan of this band for a long time, and I was excited for their return, and I'm glad they're back. I'm really glad they're back, and I don't want to take anything away from that and the success and the hype behind this album, but for me, going back and listening to their older albums and stuff, I just don't see this at the same caliber as those were. And you mentioned something that I can actually agree with as far as the other albums potentially having more soul. That's where it is. Those albums, I feel like there was a lot more soul in them and a lot more emotion in a sense. Not like it was emo or sad in any way, but there was just more like passion behind the writing of the music. And we talk about creativity a lot. I think this album's got a lot of creativity, but it feels almost rushed. It feels almost like, hey, let's get the band back together, and then they kind of just winged out an album, and then I think the next album that comes after this is gonna be fucking stellar. I think this is just them getting their toes wet again. Then now their creative juices are flowing. They got the fan base riled up again. The next album, they're really gonna put out a gem, I feel.
It's like a rebirth for the band.
Like a rebirth for the band, yes. I think they're starting off with a little bit of cold feet maybe, and they didn't quite continue from where they left off. So I feel like it's a bit of a rocky start back into the scene. A lot of people are gonna disagree with me, and that's fine. You know, this is my opinion, but for me, this album just kind of missed the mark.
So with that, let's rate it. What you got?
Okay, so with all that said, you know, it's got a bunch of good songs, one or two really good songs, and then about 4 duds. But I do think it's stronger than average, so I'm gonna give it a 6.
Myself, I think it's a good record. I think there's some definitely standout moments, but there's a lot of kind of like whatever at the same time. But overall, it's an acceptable album. I'm gonna match that score and also give this album a 6.
Double 6?
So double 6 for Fire by Kittie, and that is all we got for you guys today. But if you're wondering why this video is dropping in the morning when our reviews usually drop in the evening, that's because we have a special anniversary review coming for you guys later this evening. So tune in later on today to check out what album that is. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you for this video today. Remember to like the video if you liked it. Tell us in the comments below, what is your favorite Kittie album? Is it this one or is it an older one? And subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm TV Fish.
I'm Vile Self.
We'll see you guys later.